Prince Harry appeared completely adrift during that BBC interview, exhausted, anxious, and strangely disconnected from the world around him. The once beloved royal, known for his charm and playful spirit, now looked like a hollow version of himself, buried beneath confusion and emotional burnout. You didn't need a psychology degree to recognize something was seriously off. And Thomas Markle Jr., he didn't sugarcoat a thing. When asked what, or more specifically who, he believed was behind Harry's visible decline, his response was brutally honest. Meghan, he said. In his view, she isn't simply influencing Harry. She's directing him like a puppet master. Watching it unfold feels less like reality and more like a scripted drama, with Meghan in the director's chair, casting herself as a modern-day Diana and Harry as her loyal but emotionally shattered co-star. Every appearance, every interview, every carefully worded statement feels rehearsed. It's like Harry is being fed lines before stepping up to the microphone. If that kind of control is real, it's chilling, and it explains a lot. The man who once flashed a cheeky grin at every camera now carries the weight of someone who hasn't felt true happiness in years. And here's the haunting part. Harry wasn't always like this. He was the world's favorite prince. Wild, yes, but full of energy and heart. People adored seeing him laugh with the public, dance at festivals, and fight passionately for causes he believed in. But now, he speaks like someone trapped in a never-ending battle against his family, the press, and even the country he once called home. He seems deeply paranoid, consumed by fear that some looming conspiracy is out to get him. He worries history might repeat itself, and that Meghan or their children will meet the same fate as Princess Diana. Meanwhile, where's Meghan in all this? Posting on social media, gushing over her kids, hyping her brand, churning out yet another painfully mundane podcast about her wellness routine. It's unsettling. While Harry visibly unravels, Meghan's online image beams with curated bliss. "I've never been happier," she insists. That contrast is impossible to ignore. It's the image of one person living in a glossy fantasy, while the other silently falls apart. Tom doesn't hold back. He claims his sister is fixated on becoming Diana, not in admiration, but in replication. She's securing domain names, giving vague interviews, and building a story where she's the misunderstood royal rebel challenging a heartless institution. But there's a crucial difference. Diana had warmth. Diana had compassion. According to Thomas Markle Jr., Meghan only ever had one driving force: ambition. He describes her as methodical and performative. Every move she makes seemingly tailored for the spotlight. Everything she says and does feels like it's meant for the camera, he notes. In his view, Meghan and Harry have become mere players in a carefully crafted spectacle. No one in the Markle family has seen the children. Not Meghan's father, not even King Charles. And to Tom, that's not just tragic, it's intentional. He believes the kids are being used as strategic pawns, a way to control public perception. Meghan constantly speaks about the importance of family, yet she systematically distances herself from anyone who doesn't fit the image she's selling. Her father, the man who worked exhausting shifts to fund her private education and help her break into Hollywood, cut off. Her siblings, ghosted. Anyone who knew the real Meghan before the fame, gone without a trace. Tom says the red flags were there from the beginning. He recalls how Meghan ended her marriage to her first husband, Trevor, without warning. No sit down, no goodbye, just mailed him the wedding ring and vanished. Trevor, who adored her, was tossed aside the moment he no longer served a purpose. And now, Tom believes the same script is unfolding with Prince Harry. Manipulated, diminished, and possibly eventually discarded. It's a cycle, he warns. Rise, use, drop. It happened with Trevor. It happened with their family, and some fear it's only a matter of time before it happens again. One moment particularly stunned people. When Harry publicly claimed that King Charles and unnamed government insiders didn't want him protected, even going as far as to suggest they might prefer him dead. He warned that returning to the UK with Meghan and their children could trigger a Diana-style tragedy. It wasn't just shocking, it was surreal. Who accuses their own family of plotting their demise with no proof? And more importantly, who plants that kind of fear in someone's mind? To Thomas Jr., the answer is clear. He sees Meghan's fingerprints all over it. The paranoia, the dramatic language, the carefully engineered statements, it all reeks of scripting. This isn't just emotional instability. Tom believes it's a warped performance, a narrative in which Meghan cast herself as the misunderstood heroine rewriting royal history, with Harry playing multiple roles. Her co-star, her messenger, even her emotional prop, and the obsession with security. It's not just about safety, it's about power and control. Together, Meghan and Harry have curated an entire media identity based on being victims, cast out by the firm, mistreated by the press, and denied the protection they believe they deserve. But the deeper people dig, the more that storyline starts to fall apart. Even Queen Elizabeth reportedly asked them to stop using their HRH titles to prevent monetization of their royal status. Meghan allegedly ignored the request, continuing to plaster it on websites, marketing materials, and media campaigns. Why? For clout, for prestige, maybe even vanity. She loved the title more than the family behind it, critics say, and that's the real sting. The monarchy offered her a place within a legacy, but instead she used it as a platform to elevate herself. Meghan didn't want to join the royal family. She wanted to brand it, and she nearly did. She arrived with a Hollywood entourage, a glam squad, and a polished PR machine, blowing past royal customs and bulldozing centuries-old protocols. It was never about service or sacrifice. It was about visibility, headline dominance, and brand building. And when the palace tried to enforce tradition, Meghan flipped the narrative. Suddenly, she was the oppressed outsider. Meanwhile, her real family completely erased. And according to Thomas Markle Jr., this erasure didn't start at the wedding. It began long before. Tom says Meghan's personality began to shift after college, especially during her time filming in Canada. Something changed. The warmth faded. She became distant, cold, even cruel. Her tone toward their father transformed. The same man who worked himself into the ground to fund her dreams and education was suddenly treated like a nuisance. Once she didn't need him anymore, it was as if he no longer existed. The same fate met her first husband, Trevor. Tom remembers him vividly. Kind, respectful, deeply in love with Meghan. But one day, without warning, she mailed his wedding ring back. No phone call, no face-to-face, just silence. He was cut off like a business deal gone stale. Why? Because she was moving up, and he no longer fit the image. It wasn't emotional, it was strategic. And that, Tom says, is the most unsettling part. Meghan doesn't seem to approach relationships the way most people do. They're not rooted in connection, they're transactional. The moment someone stops adding value to her public narrative, they're dropped. Her siblings, gone. Her father, ghosted. Trevor, deleted. Lifelong friends, replaced. She's curated a sanitized fairy tale life, polished and filtered for public consumption. Everything that doesn't align with that image gets edited out. But Harry, he's not so easy to crop out. He's the royal name, the bloodline, the connection to the crown, the reason the cameras keep flashing. And that's why Tom believes Meghan is still by his side. Not out of love, but because there's still value to extract. But that value won't last forever. The moment the titles are gone, the moment Prince William takes decisive action, everything could shift. No titles, no leverage, no power. That's when the illusion could collapse. And when it does, Harry may finally wake up to find himself standing alone in the wreckage of a life that was built more on manipulation than love. The tragedy, everyone saw it coming. Thomas Jr. even tried to warn him. He sent a heartfelt letter before the wedding, begging Harry to pause, to think twice. He warned that if Meghan could abandon her own blood without blinking, she could do the same to him. It wasn't malice, it was honesty. But Harry, swept away by infatuation, couldn't see the storm brewing behind the sparkle. He didn't listen. And now, Harry's paying the price. According to Thomas Markle Jr., Prince Harry's isolation isn't random, it's intentional. Meghan, he believes, has slowly and methodically removed everyone who once kept Harry grounded. His brother, his father, his longtime friends. One by one, they were pushed out as Meghan constructed a bubble around him, filled only with her voice, her ambitions, and her agenda. Inside that echo chamber, Harry didn't just lose perspective, he lost himself. What remains is a man who parrots scripted lines like a spokesperson, shows up to interviews looking vacant, and only smiles when there's a photographer hired to capture it. The light in his eyes, gone. And the saddest part of all, the children. Archie and Lilibet have never met their grandfather, King Charles. They've never met Thomas Markle either. The family roots have been severed. Deliberately, Meghan says it's about safety, but Tom calls it what it really is: manipulation. He believes Meghan has weaponized the children, using them as leverage, shielding them not for protection, but for control. They've become pawns in a much larger power play, hidden away like royal tokens to silence critics and maintain dominance over the narrative. It's not about shielding them from danger, it's about shielding them from both sides of the family. And that, Tom says, is the real tragedy. As Meghan's carefully crafted public image continues to crumble, the cracks are starting to show. Her new ventures, lifestyle launches, podcast rebrands, curated websites, feel more desperate than inspired. They're glossy and high budget, but hollow. All branding, no substance. Screaming "look at me" to an audience that's quietly stopped paying attention. She's chasing the billion-dollar mogul status without understanding that the one thing she lacks, authenticity, can't be bought. Tom predicts what's coming next: the redemption arc, the reconciliation narrative. At some point, Meghan will attempt to spin a return to family storyline. Maybe filmed for a glossy Netflix docuseries, maybe staged through carefully leaked headlines. But Tom isn't buying it. He knows any attempt to reconnect won't be about healing, it'll be about optics. She's done it before. She'll do it again. Burn the bridge, then sell the redemption story when it fits the brand. And as for Harry, Tom has a message for him. Wake up. This isn't some petty jab. It's a genuine concern. Tom says the man once known for his charm, his wit, and his love of people has become a shadow of who he was. That spark, the confidence, the cheeky grin, the warmth, it's all vanished. What's left is someone who looks tired, cornered, and terrified of saying the wrong thing. Tom's prediction is sobering. Once the royal titles are finally stripped, everything will shift. Without the Duke and Duchess label, Meghan's interest may fade. No more royal power, no more headlines, no more prestige. That's when, Tom believes, Meghan will walk, whether quietly or with theatrical flair. And Harry, he'll be left with nothing. No royal role, no family ties, no clear identity, just a spotlight that won't turn off, and the haunting realization that none of it was ever really his choice. This was never a fairy tale. It was a cautionary tale, and the final chapter, still unfolding, while the world watches. What do you think? Has Harry lost control of his own story? Is Meghan pulling the strings, or is the media just spinning its own tale? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just royal drama. It's a real-life unraveling, and the world is watching it unfold.